Hello there. Well, it's an interesting day, isn't it? First off, if you are watching this video, this is almost certainly not about you, but it is an indictment of our nation, our society in general. How have we, the descendants of those that fought Nazism in the last century, become so weak? So weak that defending our own female offspring is accepted as a racist act. Yes, that's right. Anyone who wanted it investigated or stopped was piled on by the establishment and its tame media as racist, while most of the rest of us just looked on and kept our heads down. Those that tried to fight against it have for years been openly vilified by politicians and the press, especially if they could tie them into the far right. We all knew what was happening was wrong. We all knew the uniparty government wanted to let it continue for the sake of diversity. We all knew it is an evil act, an evil abomination. But we kept silent in general, and it continued, hurting more and more girls as time went on. We were weak. It is now time to not be weak. It is time to speak out, especially now that Elon Musk has opened that rancid can of worms by supporting Tommy Robinson and his documentaries. And we have become weak in everything, especially in England. England has the majority population and should therefore be leading the way on standing up to these rogue politicians, allowing these vile acts to continue. But the only pushback I see is the growing in size Unite the Kingdom rallies. That's where you'll see the Lionhearts gathering to make their roar heard, so join the next one on February the 1st in London. England, the only part of the UK where you don't get free NHS prescriptions, where the Labour government is now considering raising the minimum age to qualify for free prescriptions from 60 to 66 without a murmur from the English, only in England, where we are weak. England and its capital city, London, where we meekly accept the right of Hamas terrorist supporters to routinely gather and make their genocidal chants. London, where crime keeps climbing. And we hear that just this afternoon, another young lad, just 14 years old, became the latest victim of our capital's knife crime epidemic while he was travelling on a bus. Why do we meekly allow this to continue? England, where those who exploit our young are given softer sentences, if any, than those who put hurty words out on social media. And we, as a society, just sit there quietly and accept it. Yes, it's hard to put your head above the parapet. Richard and I know that, how hard that can be from our own bitter experiences. But before I bring Richard in, here's an old adage for you. Sorry, technical difficulties, but don't worry. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Then the cycle starts again. Where do you think we are? So, Richard, what do you think?
Yeah, as an Englishman with a Welsh accent, I am completely embarrassed to say that I have also become weak. The system has weakened us all morally and spiritually. We have spent too long on our knees, and it's time for us all to get up and start to be counted. We can only blame our politicians for so long without taking some personal responsibility to how we as individuals have responded in the face of absolute abject evil. Paul Thorpe touched on this in a recent video, and he is right. We were cowering in fear and allowed men such as Tommy to go and take the flak and lead the way forward. And like many of you, I have had enough of listening to these opportunistic politicians tell us that they made mention of the groomers years ago. Oh, yes, made mention is all you politicians ever bloody well did. You never risked your reputations and lives and livelihoods on a daily basis to shine a light upon an unspeakable evil that you happen to make mention of on a few occasions. No, you left all that hard work to Tommy. We all bloody well did. But you all could, but all you could do is continue to put him down. That's all you opportunistic political idiots did. That was it. Just your superficial, your claims of virtue. You're not jumping on the the so-called far-right bandwagon, as Keir Starmer said. No, you're riding on the coattails of greater men than yourselves, all you politicians out there who happen to make mention of the groomers. Look, all of us, we thought it's somebody else's problem. We all had that attitude. But today, as you said, it's a new day, Jeff, and you and I have faced some unpleasantries over speaking out. But if we don't, and if everyone else doesn't, then it's up to the next generation to do it. We must become strong spiritually in our Christian faith. That's incredibly important. Strong in our resolve and physically strong. I feel completely weak compared to what I used to be. I mean, granted, I'm older, but I used to do press-ups on my knuckles, fall flat on a concrete floor to do it, just to harden my body, which is indeed, it hardens the mind as well. All these things are linked. In my mind, incidentally, there's not one of our political party leaders who's going to save us. Half of them just tell us what we want to hear, then backtrack as soon as power and responsibility seems to be creeping close to them. Look at Robert Jenrick. Look, he has just said some very robust things. Now that he is no longer in a position to do anything about them. Yes, all sounds good what he is saying, but sorry, I'm not so easily fooled anymore by these idiots. And where is our gatekeeper? Where is King Charles? Where is he? You know, that man who is supposed to step in when the nation is in a dire situation. Not a peep from him. Nothing over the treatment of our daughters by certain sections of society. Isn't he supposed to intervene when his people need him? Of course, he is probably spouting cultural and religious relativism to some of his sycophants who maintain him in his position as so-called constitutional monarch, just like he did in his satanic Christmas King speech. Look, when the head of state is weak, that weakness filters down to the rest of us. These days, our monarchy's job is mostly a sort of front of house for the nation to meet and greet foreign dignitaries. You know, yes, come in, meet my brother Andrew. Yes. Oh, over here is a picture of my old friend Jimmy, and here's one of my old friend Peter Ball. Oh, sorry, mustn't have a pop at our betters, must we? Anyway, Jeff.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same about Robert Jenrick. I just think they're controlled opposition. It comes out with tough rhetoric, but they all do when they're in opposition, don't they? They come out with all these comments. They're going to do this, that, and the other. And it's all just usual controlled opposition stuff because they're part of the same uniparty.
Yes.
Now, Elon Musk has recognized this. I don't know whether you know, but he had a go at the Lib Dem leader, Ed Davey, earlier today and called him a snivelling cretin. Cool, because Ed Davey said Musk should keep out of UK politics because he knows nothing about the UK. I've got to say, Musk seems to know a lot more about groomers in the UK than Ed Davey does, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Davey standing up for those girls. Oh, hang on. Didn't he sign something against the deportation of certain criminals? I might be wrong there, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, whilst on subject, there's something as well I spotted on GB News, and I made a note of it. And this is from Steph Parker, Assistant Chief Constable for Greater Manchester Police, I believe. Child protection is the priority of the GMP of today. Our approach to protecting victims and pursuing perpetrators is significantly improved to that of 2 decades ago, with His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary recently finding us to be good or adequate in areas of protecting children across GM. Yeah. Yes, I noticed that it's His Majesty's Inspectorate. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Winds me up.
everything is, yeah.
Yeah. Where does the buck stop? Whose name is this in? Is this in our name? Are our names above the doors of each court? No. There we go. No, I find this all very, very, very annoying, and it makes me angry that we have become so weak as a nation. One man stood up. He really did. Stood up in the face of, well, pure evil, and he just kept going. And he didn't stop.
Yeah.
He is now in prison. It doesn't matter if you like him or not. At least recognize a man who is prepared to die and has the courage of his convictions, whilst other people make little snipes at him from the corner. Like a certain politician there, Jeff, who has come out again and criticized him.
Yes. Nigel Farage, the Reform UK leader, disappointingly has come out and said on, what was it, on Nick Ferrari's show. That's what I was going to say. Nick Ferrari's show that on LBC. Yeah, I'll just show you what he actually said.
Yeah.
First, just so you get the picture there.
No,
wrong one.
Bobby Robinson character, who some see as a hero. And all right, he's talked about grooming gangs and other things, although he's hardly been on his own on that, has he? I mean, I was first being condemned in 2012 for daring to talk about it.
Anne Cryer was talking in 2002.
Yeah, no, she was. I mean, she is the
20+ years.
She's the heroine of all of this.
Yeah.
As indeed, to be fair, Andrew Norfolk, who was writing for the Times,
journalist.
And Sue Reed on the Mail. There were some very brave figures early on. But when figures like myself as party leaders dared pop their head over the parapet, we were smashed back down very, very quickly. Robinson's talked about this, but he has a criminal record, a list as long as your arm. Violence against women. I could go on, Nick. Right. And all I'm saying is, look, Mr. Robinson, do what the hell you like. We are totally separate from that. And I never wanted, and you know this, you've known me long enough to know, I've never wanted my parties to have anything to do with the BNP or extremism.
Right, so you got that little lot there. Now, this was quite stinging for Tommy's family. And Tommy's ex-wife went produced a statement, which is, I've left a link to it in the descriptions below. I'll just read it out, and she uses his real name, Stephen, in the statement, and I'll just start reading it out. It has been really upsetting to hear Nigel Farage has accused my ex-husband, Stephen Lennon, of perpetrating violence against women. Having to sit down and talk to my children about these false allegations, which are all over social media, is not something any mother should have to do. I have never, ever been assaulted or abused by Stephen ever in my life. There has never, ever been a call to the police about violence towards me or any other woman for that matter. Stephen has never, ever been charged or accused of violence towards me or any other woman. These lies have to stop. Our children don't deserve to have these allegations thrown in their faces by their peers or questioned about it in their friendship groups. Who the hell does Nigel Farage think he is? What gives him the right to spread lies and misinformation about my ex-husband? What gives him the right to upset my children with his false allegations? I am so sick of hearing absolute lies spread about Stephen, which affects our children. Stephen isn't a perfect man, has never claimed to be a perfect man. We have had our challenges as a family because of his activism and his journalism. That goes without saying. But I cannot and will not have a high-profile politician like Farage spread fake news about my children's dad. The lies have to stop. They have to stop now. Nigel must apologise for what he has said. My children have endured enough lies and misrepresentations about their dad to last a lifetime. As I said, if you want to read that statement for yourself, I've put a link to it in the descriptions box below. Wrenches your gut a bit, doesn't it? Now, I will also remind you of how aggrieved Farage was over Chris Bryant using parliamentary privilege to make false claims about Farage's so-called Russian income. Remember that? And this is what Farage tweeted in September 2023, if I can find the right one. Sir Chris Bryant has been appointed to the shadow cabinet. This is the man who used parliamentary privilege to make false and damaging allegations against me. This is a very bad appointment. So I do hope Nigel Farage will now do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say on that. I find it very, very disturbing.
Yes, I'm very shocked at it, to be honest with you. I mean, okay, let's just play hypotheticals here. Okay, hypotheticals. So he is putting out right now a statement. He is on LBC, Nick Ferrari. He has said that there is a history of violence there by Tommy Robinson and basically taken his character apart for that. Yet, okay, a criminal, that's because of an apparent alleged criminal record that I believe is absolute nonsense, but with the specifics of what he's accused him of. But anyway, doesn't he have a friend in America, a very high profile friend in America, who has said some very questionable things? Not that I criticize this individual, incidentally. I quite like this individual. But this person has been found guilty by a court of law for improprieties. And I think, oh, all right. So where is the moral relativism in this matter? Even if it was true, which it isn't, where is the moral relativism? This is the strangest, most bizarre argument that has been put forward by Farage, and I'm completely at a loss. Is he trying to somehow smear Tommy because, well, in order to curry favor again from Elon Musk? That's what it feels like. I mean, I could be completely wrong there. I just find the whole thing very strange, and this is a very sad time for us because this is going to damage reform, which was our only political way out, to be honest with you, at this point in time, unless, of course, somebody else takes over. I'm a bit at a loss at all this. This is completely left field as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I don't know what to say, really, Jeff.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just looking something up because I'm trying to remember the James McMurdoch.
Oh, yes.
Reform UK MP.
Yes.
Yeah. 20 years ago, he was involved in an altercation with a woman where he was, it was, well, I can find the actual, if I can find the actual thing about it.
Okay.
This is one of Mr. Farage's team.
Yes, I did see that on Sky. This is a Reform MP, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, well, okay, so there's no moral relativism, even if this, whatever it is about Tommy is true, then...
There you go. I'll read it out from Sky News. Yeah. If it will go. James McMurdoch, Reform UK MP, previously jailed for repeatedly kicking girlfriend, questioned by Sky News at party conference. So there you go. That was 2 decades ago, but Tommy has not got a record like that.
No.
But a Reform UK MP of Farage's has. And the hypocrisy. I did a Twitter video on this where I pointed out that Farage seems to be losing his political nous somewhere. But there you go.
This is I think it's very disturbing, to be honest with you. Jeff, yeah. I find it... So as you can tell, I'm lost for words. I'm completely lost for words.
Yeah,
We've had all these different
lost for words. Yeah.
Yeah.
While you're lost for words,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Jan Robertson, for your super sticker. Thank you very much. And Gareth Smith, thank you very much for your contribution. And also Neil Dale, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all.
And Nick Skoll, vote bruv, time for balls. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Bruv is, I believe that's the party being set up by, oh, good grief, Andrew Tate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
So,
yeah. I
gaining a lot
did
of
hear that Andrew
attention.
Tate's trying to stand for Prime Minister, but that's not how it works in the UK. But there you go.
No, but very interesting. I'm just going to ask the chat, to be honest with you. I want to ask the chat. Everyone, could you just give a reply here? Thumb, say, would you vote? Do you want Nigel Farage to remain as Reform leader, or do you want somebody else to? So, yes or no? Yes for Farage to remain. No for him not to. So, please do.
Either vote for him to remain or to leave. Yeah.
Yes.
While you're doing that, I'm going to move on a bit and say, have you seen that Labour Party promotional TikTok video? Has anyone seen that?
Oh.
I'm going to play this, but I'm not going to play the music. I'll just show a part of the actual thing itself. And this is what it was all about. And what a downright unsavoury effort it was too. So typical of Keir the Sleaze Starmer party. The Labour Party has apologised for this, so everything's fine then. Is it? No, it isn't, because this latest episode goes far deeper than just some minor editorial error of judgment. As far as I'm concerned, it is a reflection of the current Labour Party and its beliefs. That offensive TikTok video, which was as poorly constructed as the Labour government cabinet, shows us what lies at its heart: a total reliance on shallow gimmickry while showing a distasteful respect for our youngsters. Yes, while they were reeling under the Elon Musk revelatory onslaught and trying to argue that our children are safe in their hands, out comes this freakish Labour Party AI-derived advert on TikTok using a backing track in Portuguese, which refers to plying girls with alcohol and illicit substances to get them going, as it were. What must the people of Portugal think about this UK government? Would you bring your kids here on holiday now? And given their previous responses to criticism, I'm amazed Keir Starmer wasn't out there straight away claiming that anyone who lambasts their new video is far right. What do you reckon?
Yeah, the lyrical content of that video, I don't think you described strongly enough how absolutely hideous it is. Once you hear the translation from Portuguese, and when you hear that from Portuguese into English, you realize this is almost like promoting Savile type attitudes towards girls, and I find it absolutely abhorrent. So I have to come on here now. By the way, the one comment here, that Welsh guy is a bit of a nutter. Of course I am.
Yeah. Well, we know you're a nutter.
Absolutely. Anyway, sorry, going back to, I posed the question earlier. Would you like to see Farage gone? Yes or no? And I'd say it was a very interesting response that I'd say about 75 or 70 to 75% of people said, yes, they would like Farage to leave and be gone. And the rest like, no. And I totally, even after this abhorrent, these abhorrent comments by Farage, there is one very unfortunate point here to make. And that is, if he goes, that's going to damage reform. Reform are the only electable way of using the democratic process to effect change. That's it. They're the only game in town other than Labour. The Tories aren't going to do it, no matter if Robert Jenrick takes over with all the best rhetoric in the world. Never trust them. However, if you were to ask me now to vote reform? The answer would be yes, if there was a general election tomorrow, obviously. I probably wouldn't sleep for a week after doing it, because these comments against Tommy are once again absolutely abhorrent by Nigel Farage. I don't know what he is playing at. He's being probably very, very badly advised by somebody. And he used to have the best advice. I know the chap who used to advise him, the best advice in the country. Brilliant advice he used to get. Something's changed. And I'm sorry, it was a step too far for me today on LBC. But yes, I would still vote. But I'm not happy about his
trouble,
position.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, CCD says, Jeff Taylor, maybe Trump should have the same talk with Starmer that he had with Justin Trudeau. See ya, Justin. That would be something, wouldn't it? But I'm not sure that's going to... anyway, we've got another... So thanks very much, Nick Scoy. Tate wants Tommy, vote bruv. So, there's another one who wants to vote bruv. Yeah. And Mike Hipperson says, no, get him gone or vote UKIP instead. So, there's another...
yes, that's how I feel.
Opinion.
My heart says UKIP or some other party similar. I have to say that. My head says reform, and I feel like you feel like you're selling your soul out a bit. Which actually brings me on to something else here. And there's a great comment here by Alan Edgar. England rejected Christianity, so reap what you sow. That is exactly correct. That is perfectly bang on the money. As soon as we let go of the one ideology, we'll just call it an ideology for now. It's much more than that, oh, believe me. But the one ideology that made not just England, but Britain and Europe great many years ago, many generations ago, that ideology was Christianity. As soon as we started kicking it out, look what's happened, not just to Britain, but to Europe. It's completely collapsed. In comes secularism, moral and cultural and religious relativity. All things are equal. All religions, all thought processes are equal. Yeah. What? No, not all thoughts are equal. Cultures do vary in what they believe. Individuals are then subject to the morality programming of those cultures. And that's it. Get rid of the Bible, you get rid of Britain.
Yeah. And thank you very much to N8 Watt. Stick to the program, reform first, then reform. So, it's reform all the way for you. I just hope that I'm just hoping that Nigel can get back on track. First thing he needs to do is apologize to Tommy. That is really important, because otherwise he's leaving himself wide open.
Yes, it has to be said. Look, the Christian in me does say, I had a friend. I'm not going to say who this person was. I had a chat with a friend today, a brother in Christ, and somebody who was in the movement, and he really helped today, because at the end of the day, we have to realize that this is now Nigel Farage's choice. Okay, if he wants to commit political suicide, then that's his prerogative. All right, he can repent of not just his ideology and his thoughts towards his secularist ideology, which I'm sure he has. I may be wrong, but his thoughts towards Tommy. But he can repent of his wrongdoings in other matters. I wish he would come out and stand up for Christianity. That's the backbone of a society. You get rid of that, all the rest is rubbish. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
There was another comment.
Tommy Noble says, I support Tommy Robinson and follow Jesus, as both are in truth.
Yes.
There you go.
My king is by Tina Wainwright. My king is Jesus Christ, not idiot King Charles. Oh my gosh, I couldn't share that sentiment, could I? Yes.
No, of course not.
I did see one a bit as well. Like somebody said about the Church of England has gone woke. Yes, it has. Incidentally, there's been a huge resurgence, hasn't there, Jeff, in Orthodox faith? It was especially amongst young men. Jeff,
Yeah,
yourself
in
and
America,
myself.
the report.
Go on.
Yeah, in America, the report came out that more young men are turning towards Orthodox Christianity, which is, good news, really, as far as I'm concerned.
It's very different to
Here
your
we go.
woke church. That's the one thing you need to
Oh,
know.
yeah.
It's very, very different. It's very different to
Yeah.
Catholicism. It's closer in some of the stylization, I suppose you might say, from what you might perceive if you went into. You might be more familiar with it
Yeah.
if you were from a Catholic background. But a very, very, it's the original church.
Yeah, and here we have Day State Sniper 01, Ben Habib for reform leadership, which a lot of people do agree with.
Yes.
So, yeah. And this one, your arrogance, Farage, disgusts me, says fed up Brit. There's no excuse for this.
Yes.
Yeah, people
I
are
agree.
already trying to make excuses, saying he was just sort of generally talking about violence. But it sounded to me directly, if someone said that about him, I think he would go ballistic, to be honest. So, yeah. Oh, dear. His resentment against Musk, it's out on Tommy. Yeah, he's been very, very clear, hasn't he, that he still respects, that Farage still respects Musk. He's still staying on the right side of him. He won't say anything against him. So, yeah.
Musk has tweeted one or two
you go.
things as well by Nigel Farage in the past day or so, positive things. So there seems to be, I don't know if it's a backtracking by Elon Musk, but after these comments about Tommy, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Nigel?
Yes. So there you go.
Good comment here, Rupert Lowe and
Harry
Ben
Flash.
Habib.
Yeah, Harry Flasher says, I don't think Reform hates Tommy. They are trying to appeal to the most people. It's politics. I don't think the Reform supporters, have flocked to Tommy events in London. I've seen them, talk to them.
Yeah.
But it's the leadership that seems to be distancing itself. And I don't know how long that can continue.
Well, Jeff, I mean, it's okay if they don't want Tommy near the party. That's fine. All right, whatever. I don't think Tommy's going to be too upset about that. He doesn't want to be in Reform. He wants to be more involved in the cultural movement. The point here is, though, why do they have to personally attack him in such a way? That's the issue that people are having. These are character assassinations against a man who is braver than they ever will be. Sorry, I know Nigel's actually done a lot for this country. I'm not going to take that away from Farage, but his actions and behavior right now they're not consistent with the Nigel Farage that I used to know and support, incidentally. Very strange. Yeah, Ben Habib all the way. Either him or Rupert Lowe as leader of Reform, for me, would be a wonderful thing. Would it be the best thing to do, though? That's the question. Are they as powerful and wide in their appeal as Nigel Farage? I don't know. These are
Ben Habib is
questions.
certainly... Yeah, Ben Habib is really pushing the boat out on all of this. He's been on Twitter, Left, Right, and Chelsea, and on various TV shows and stuff. And he really is coming out with some hard-hitting policies, talking about from NATO to the groomers and all the rest of it. So yeah, he's doing a real lot of work there, to be honest. But a lot of people seem to like this bruv thing. And that's coming through on the comments. So, yeah. No to Tice or Farage. So, yeah, that's another one. This hasn't done him any favours. Picking a fight with Tommy has not done him the favours he thinks it's done him. I really don't think so. And that's a big mistake. He needs to apologise and he needs to mend a couple of... build a couple of bridges there somehow. I don't know how he'll do it at this stage, but he should try. So, yeah.
Yes, Mel has just commented. She said Tommy's ex-wife has put out a statement saying Farage needs to apologise. Yes, you just read that out earlier, actually, Jeff. And I'd like to go back to that because that says a lot when your ex-wife is there supporting you strongly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
breaks my heart.
Oh, yeah,
to think
there
what
was
happened to
no,
that family. It really does. What happened to that family
Yeah.
was tragic, utterly tragic.
Yeah.
And they've paid the price. She's paid the price. His children have. And those comments by Nigel were not unnecessary. They were disgusting.
Yeah.
It's now up to Nigel, incidentally, to prove these accusations. He has to prove it. You know, just to save his own skin, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if I've shown this one already.
Which one's this, Jeff?
TikTok clips. Farage is showing his true colours. Vote UKIP. Thanks very much. And then there's W8 Watt and say New Zealand has grey power. The elderly who put down knitting and actively protested in numbers to make a difference. Yep, that's what we need to be doing here, but we need it from all corners and from all age groups. And I'm hoping that the younger age group will come out in support of the UK as well, and think about these, because they'll, you know, they might know people, might well know, have their friends who've been affected by what went on for the last 20 years. So yeah.
Well, Jeff, you did show the one TikTok video by Labour. That's the one you did show. I'm not sure if you have another one there.
Another one.
Yes.
Have I got another one? No.
You said you're not sure if you said you're not sure if you showed a TikTok video. So
no, the super chat. Sorry.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry.
But I showed you just now. Yeah. I'm losing count. I'm losing track. So yeah. Anyway, here's some news that some quite good news. The boss of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, is suddenly going all free speech on us. It looks like the Trump effect is rubbing off on Facebook. That'll be a shock to the woke left. In a statement, Zuckerberg said, "We will allow more speech by lifting restrictions on some topics that are a part of mainstream discourse and be focusing our enforcement on illegal and high-severity violations." Well, wow. That to me is just coming back down to earth and coming back down to common sense. We'll soon start seeing social media where you won't get slapped down for saying something un-PC. Maybe that'll happen on YouTube, where you can actually start talking about using some of the words that everyone else uses. Where on YouTube at the moment, it's still a bit of a gamble as to whether you can say some of those words.
You know why this is happening. Didn't Trump put a video out a while ago saying that as soon as he comes into power, that social media platforms will be obliged to encourage freedom of speech? If there's anything like shadow banning going on, I believe Trump said, he would get directly involved and they would be either heavily fined or shut down such social media platforms. So now that Trump is coming in, it's like, oh, quickly, we better get our act together. Zuckerberg's not doing this out of decency and the kindness of his own heart, I don't think. I could be wrong. He could be a lovely guy.
He could be. Yeah.
I do hope. I do hope, though, Jeff, the day comes when you and I can actually say what we want to say on YouTube. I mean, we are mostly on YouTube. We obviously have other platforms which we're involved in, but just to be able to say the truth, to articulate it. We're already saying it, but to be able to articulate it properly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is some of the mental shenanigans we've had to go through to try and say things that are understandable to people that sort of bypass the control grid have been, quite mind-bending. But most people have got it, although I do remember during the health emergency, a lot of people were saying, "What are you saying, Jeff?" when I was trying to talk about various subjects. And it does get difficult sometimes, but this is the problem when you go down the route of censorship. Then it makes it difficult for people to speak or say anything at all. And that's exactly what government's like. They want you to feel that way. They love it. But
what was that one line you used to come out with? I can't. It was one of the variants. It was a way of re-saying one of the names of the variant of the illness. And we had to come up with some very creative terminology to be able to say it. I remember
we did have to do things, didn't we? Yeah, but we've had to be that way tonight. We can only talk about groomers. That's all we can talk about. Any other term could get you, this is a violation, sort of thing. I'm hoping that will go away, but some people do get away with it. Others don't.
But anyway, back to the point here. Or the original point of this video is to say that we have become weak. We have all become weak, physically, mentally, but in particular spiritually. If you haven't got spiritually, we are not strong in our general direction as a nation, which I'm sorry is a Christian nation, and the king is meant to be the head of the church. But then again, can you blame people for moving away from Christianity when people look at what's happened with Justin Welby, the direction of travel of the church for decades, to be honest with you? And the people involved with the church, can you blame people for being put off the church? I can't, especially when the head of the church hates, to be honest with you, a lot of the things that ordinary, decent Brits believe in. At his Christmas speech, for goodness sake, he was saying that this is universal principles. They travel across all faiths. I thought, what are you bloody on about? You're meant to be the head of the church. You're meant to be defending one faith. And that faith is quite specific in its message to say that it is the faith that provides a route to salvation. What you're saying is not true, King Charles. There we go. Yeah. Right. Are we off, Jeff?
Yes. Sorry?
Are we off?
Yes, I think we've reached the end of this one. It's been really great to hear from everybody and see your opinions. And thanks very much for the contributions. And my nose is beginning. I think I've got a bug coming on. My nose is beginning to fill up a bit. So, and not with what some people fill their noses with. I can assure you, I don't do that. So there you go. And all I can say is that my heart goes out to Tommy's family, actually, over this sort of affair with Farage, and also to all the families affected over the decades of our weakness.
What do you mean an affair with Farage? Tommy hasn't had an affair with Farage. Yes. Sorry, we have to make it light. It's bloody awful what's happened to Tommy and his family, though. Because we start this video saying that the English are weak and become weak. Please. Yeah. That is one family that is not weak. That is one family that is strong. I'd make them the monarchy tomorrow, the entire family. And I'm not joking. Okay, we had a few super chats in here just as we were going here, Jeff.
Yeah, we just had an extra one here. Police don't know what to do with thousands of civil disobedient grannies. It really scares the establishment into submission. Yes, well, it would do. Just remember the Tooting 4 the older generation might not get such an easy ride. So we'll see about what happens with them. I think it's on the 20th, but we'll see. So thanks very much for your contribution. But all I can say is that let's hope that we can grow a spine, sort out these groomers, get them dealt with, whatever colour, creed, or whatever they are. Doesn't matter. We've got to deal with this. It's criminal, and it's a sad. In 100 years' time, they'll be looking back at us and saying what a weak, pathetic bunch we were.
Yes,
for letting this happen to our kids. They will. Anyway, on that note, it's goodbye from me,
and it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.
Good night.
Find the button, Jeff.
Thank you, Mazatzai. Before we go, you got that one in just before I pressed the off button. Anyone from the House of York still around? Thank you very much indeed, and good night.